Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
How is it audible?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. It's audible, sir.
Okay, fine, fine, right. Only four participants. There are the other participants. We'll wait for 1 minute. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Sir, or make it this full screen, sir, by clicking this one.
Which one? Full screen.
Sir. Sir, you just zoom, no, sir. This last one, non-stop, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
It's okay now, no?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
ఎవరు BAK MOH మిడిల్ క్లాస్ లో మెసేజ్ పెట్టాడు. ఏంటిది BIT URL పెట్టాడు. ఓకే. We'll start now. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
It's all good, no? Shall
Yes,
we
sir.
start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ask your friends to join if you know anybody, any of them from your class. So we'll start our next class. That is, in our initial class, we studied about stress-strain relation. Before that, we studied about mechanical properties, right? The stress-strain relations. Then analysis of bars of varying cross-section, right? Wherein in analysis of bars of varying cross-section, we have seen total elongations. We have found out total elongation in each and every bar. And yesterday's class we have started composite section, wherein again a problem on composite section is there. After seeing this composite section problem, we will enter into the temperature stresses and strains, or called as thermal stresses and strains, right? So don't miss any of the classes, because each and every class is a continuation, right? So it is not that the fresh topic is being started, but these topics what have been started, it is depending on the previous data what you have acquired. Now we will see this problem. So in the previous problem, as far as composite section is concerned, we said that there were two bars and there was an elongation, is it not? But here there are two, okay, copper rods, right? Rather, there is steel rod and two copper rods. There is a steel rod, okay, this is a straight line, this is not curve, and there is a copper rod. Together support a load of 370 kilonewton. That means 370 kilonewton load is on these three, two copper rods and one steel rod. Okay. The cross-sectional area of steel is this much, and each copper rod is 1600 mm square. Find the stresses in the rod. Young's modulus for stress, steel and Young's modulus for copper is being given, right? So whatever may be the concept, when you see that this problem is a composite bar, your thinking should be, yes, when the problem is a composite bar, I need to remember two things. First thing is change in elongation. Okay, first what was the first thing? Strain in one component or strain in one material is equal to strain in the other material. So that is the first thing. Strain in the sense, change in length in one material is equal to the change in length in the other material, right? Second thing is total load took by the two materials, right? So load on steel plus load on copper is equal to total load applied. So these two things, if you remember, then that is more than sufficient for you to solve the problem. So that is what our approach was till yesterday, and even now also the same concept. Okay. So in our previous problem, it was increase in length of steel rod is equal to increase in length of copper rod, because there was a tensile force. There was a tensile force present at this point. But here there is a compressive force which is over the copper and steel rods. Therefore, there is going to be a decrease in length. So compressive, as it is trying to compress this, there is going to be a decrease in length. So decrease in length of the steel rod is equal to decrease in length of the copper rod. That means how much amount of steel rod is going to decrease its length, that much amount is going to be the copper rod's length to be decreased. Okay, so that means, for example, as we have over here 15 plus 10 25, if there is a reduction of not 25 but 20, if there is a 20 reduction, let us say, okay, so there is a 20 reduction, or let us say with this 15. So if there is a 15, this is 15, and with respect to this is also 15. So if it is reduced by 12, copper, when it is reduced by 12, even steel also will be reduced by 12. Therefore, reduction in the length of the steel rod is equal to the reduction in the length of the copper rod. Decrease in length of the steel rod is equal to decrease in length of the copper rod. Now understand here, in previous problem our approach was different, but in this problem our approach of solving the problem is different. Why it is different is because in the previous problem what we have solved, both the rods length is equal. Both the rods length is equal. If you refer the previous problem, both the rods length was equal. So what were the two rods which we have taken? What two rods we have taken is, we have considered, I'll just refer it, just a minute. Okay, rod 1 and rod 2. So we have considered steel and copper, but their length was same. But that is not the case over here. Steel rod length is more than copper rod. So when there is a change in the length, our approach should be in this way. Strain is equal to change in length by original length. Is it right? So change in length is equal to strain into L. Okay. So this, based on this principle, we will move further. So change in length in steel rod is equal to change in length in copper rod. Change in length in steel rod is equal to change in length in the copper rod. Okay. So what is delta LS? Delta L of steel is equal to, from this formula, epsilon S into LS. Okay. I hope you don't have any doubt. So delta L, change in length in the steel rod, is equal to strain into length. Similarly, change in length of the copper rod is equal to strain into length. Okay. So, but what is epsilon? Epsilon, how we will get epsilon is, epsilon I have found out from here. Stress is equal to, sorry, Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. Therefore, strain is equal to sigma by E, stress by E. Therefore, this is stress, the strain is equal to sigma S by ES. So, sigma S by ES into 250. What is 250? 250 is the length of the steel rod. So it is 15 centimeters converted into mm. Then 15 plus 10, it is 25, 250 mm is equal to sigma C. Same thing, sigma C by EC into 150. So there is a relation in terms of stress in the steel rod and stress in the copper. Okay. So we cannot further solve. That means individually we cannot find out. Therefore, I'll leave this aside and I'll move for the next important aspect. That is, next criteria is load on steel will be equal to, or sorry, load on the steel plus load on copper should be equal to total applied load. Okay. So load on steel, load on copper. How we can find out load on steel, load on copper? Stress is equal to load by area. Load is equal to stress into area. So stress into area plus stress into area is equal to 3,70,000. What is the 3,70,000? This is what that is. In Newton, I have written it. Therefore, 3,70,000 Newton it was. Okay. Just a minute. Fine. Now, but sigma s is equal to 1.2 into sigma c. Therefore, I have substituted, and the rest of the things are being known to you. Everything I have solved it. So one more problem is there, important problem asked in the exam. I'll give it as a homework to you today. Right. So that is completed. Now, analysis of composite sections is done. Fine. And analysis of composite sections we are going to see in, hello, screen kanabadutundamma?
Sir.
Okay, fine. So analysis of composite sections, we are going to do it again, but where we will do it is, we will do that thing in, where we will do it is, we are going to do it in thermal stresses and thermal strains. We are going to do it in thermal stresses and strains. Now we have entered into a new topic, that is thermal stresses and thermal strains. So what is this thermal stresses and thermal strains is, look here. When there are temperature, when there is a temperature which is trying to make a material either to expand or to contract, okay, when temperature exists or due to the influence of temperature, when a steel rod or a copper rod it is expanding, okay, so when it may expand, fine. So we are going to see two cases in this. What is those two cases is, free expansion of steel rod. That means there is a steel rod which is fixed at one end. The length of the steel rod is this, okay, and alpha, because when we are talking about temperatures, alpha is going to come into picture, where alpha is coefficient of thermal expansion. Its unit is per degree centigrade. Even you coefficient of thermal expansion you have read in intermediate also about those things, fine. So coefficient of thermal expansion is this. Now, when the steel rod is heated to a certain temperature, fine. So let us say initial temperature was T1. After heating, the temperature was T2. Therefore, change in temperature is equal to T2 minus T1. Fine. Now, what has happened is, there was a steel rod which has been taken. Due to heating, okay, there was a temperature difference that was there, that is T. And moreover, not only temperature difference will be there, but also the material is going to affected with respect to its length. That means even length also will increase. Length also will increase. So how much, by what amount the length is going to increase? The length is going to increase by delta L. Okay, delta L it has increased. Therefore, length of the rod increases by delta L. Now, how do we get this delta L value is alpha T into L. What is this alpha? Coefficient of linear expansion. Okay, what is T? Change in temperature. What is L? Length of the steel rod. Okay, so first and foremost expression you need to remember this. That is, change in length is equal to, change in length, okay, is equal to alpha T into L. Fine. Right. Now, look here. There is a note which has been written as steel rod is allowed to expand freely. Now, what is happening over here is, as a steel rod is allowed to expand freely, it is going to expand freely in one direction. Okay. That means when any body is made to expand freely in any of the direction, then thermal stresses and strains doesn't develop in that body. Understand once again, as the steel rod is allowed to expand in one particular direction, no thermal stresses and strains will develop in this body. When thermal stresses and strains are going to develop in this body is when there is some hindrance, when there is another support, or when there is some compressive force which is uh, applied in the opposite direction. Then only thermal stresses and strains are going to develop. Now look here. The same thing I have taken it as case 2. In case 1, no thermal stresses and strains are developed in the body. But in case of case 2, now look here. This is a steel rod of length L. It has got supports on either ends. It has got supports on either ends. Now, as it has got supports on either end, now if you try to heat that body, if you try to heat that body, what is going to happen to this body? It may not be in a position to expand. Okay, it may not be in a position to expand, okay, because of some hindrance on either sides of supports. Therefore, what happens is internally there is going to be the stress and strains developed within the body. Okay, there is going to be the strain and the stresses which are going to develop within the body. Okay, now consider a steel rod heated to a certain temperature. Steel rod has to extend, but supports at either end doesn't prevent it from expansion. Now this case is as same as this case. That means if you provide a support or if you apply a opposite load, compressive load, then heat this one, then it will not expand freely, right? Now strain in this case will be, we know what strain is, change in length by original length. But here there is no change in length. Actually this length is being prevented. Okay, therefore extension prevented. Extension in the sense change in the length. Okay, it is not extending, it is not elongating. Why it is not elongating? Because there is a compressive force P or there is a support over here. Therefore change in length will be extension prevented. If there would have not been any support or load, automatically it would have been extended by delta L, as in this case. Is it right? Therefore, extension prevented will be epsilon is equal to delta L by L. So that is equal to, what was delta L? Alpha T into L. That was the first equation. Alpha T into L by L. That is equal to alpha T. So epsilon is equal to alpha T. Now, what is this epsilon? Now it is called as, thermal strain, or it is called as temperature strain, or it is called in this aspect as compressive strain. Now look here, this is not tensile strain. This is compressive strain only. This compressive strain is developed due to a force which is there or a hindrance which is there, such that the material doesn't expand freely. Okay, so compressive strain. And the thermal stress can be this thermal strain. Thermal stress, you know, stress is equal to strain into Young's modulus. Therefore thermal strain is alpha T into E, right, which is called as thermal stress or temperature stress or compressive thermal stress. Okay, compressive thermal stress. Now you may ask, now you are talking only about compressive stress. Can tensile stress develop? Yes, it can develop. When it will develop is, instead of increase in temperature, if there is decrease in temperature, then thermal stress and thermal strain will be tensile. Both will be tensile. That is called as tensile stress and tensile strain. Okay, so that is how the introduction part of thermal stresses and strains are being taken into picture. So first and foremost thing is, steel rod, you have taken it, you made it expand freely, and you have calculated what is the delta L. Fine, by taking into account the coefficient of thermal expansion, linear expansion, okay, into T into L. But there is a restriction, okay. Therefore, what is the compressive stress you have found out? So not only compressive and stress and compressive strain are going to be there, but thermal stress, tensile stress and tensile strain are going to also going to exist. But when there is a decrease in temperature. When there is no increase in temperature, but there is a decrease in temperature, then thermal stress is going to take place. Now look here, you can understand it. When the temperature is increasing, compressive stress is there. When the temperature is decreasing, thermal stress, the stress will be in the opposite direction. That will be tensile. That is going to be tensile. Okay. So now one more point we will see. One more point is stresses and strains when the support yields. Stresses and strains when the support yields. Hello? Hello? హలో వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
ఓకే, రైట్.
Sir.
ఎక్కడ డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఉంది చెప్పండి. రైట్, నౌ స్ట్రెసెస్ అండ్
Okay,
స్ట్రెయిన్స్
sir.
వెన్ సపోర్ట్స్ ఈల్డ్. సపోర్ట్స్ ఈల్డ్ అంటే, లుక్ హియర్, and there are supports which are there. This is support, is it right? This is a support. Support yield ante, that is nothing but yielding is nothing. What is yielding? We have studied in case of yield point in stresses and strains. Yield point is the stage where the material will try to deform permanently. That means plastic deformation starts at this position. That means support will expand. The support will expand. That means it will have the deformation, permanent deformation. Okay, that is there for support only. Therefore, if support yields by an amount of delta, then what is going to be actual expansion is actual expansion is equal to expansion due to rise in temperature minus delta. So why we are removing this delta is because this delta is nothing but the support yielded. The support has yielded. That means supported has extended such that it may not come back to its original position. Plastic deformation has taken place. Fine. So that amount we need to remove it. Okay. That amount is nothing but delta has to be removed. So expansion due to rise in temperature is alpha T into L minus delta. So actual strain in this case will be actual expansion by original length. So this by L. Actual stress is equal to actual strain into Young's modulus. That's it. Simple formula. So we will see one simple problem and we will go for the next topic. So this problem is simple. You can understand it. Therefore, I'll try to avoid this problem. As I'll keep this in your WhatsApp group, you can see for that. Okay. Even this case also, it is also simple. Only thing is based on the two formulas, three formula or four formulas what we have learned. Based on that, it will be simple. Nothing is there. Straightforward substitution. Now we will start an important topic called as thermal stresses in composite bars. Now you need to understand this very. You have to be very meticulous in understanding this concept, right? We have studied about thermal stresses. Is it right? In thermal stresses, we said we have taken a single bar, that was steel bar. So we considered two cases in this. First case was we made that steel bar to expand freely, okay, and we said delta L was alpha T into L. And the second case was we restricted its or we prevented its extension by keeping a support or a compressive force. Therefore, then and there itself, thermal stresses and strains have developed. Then thermal strain is equal to expansion restricted by the original length. Based on it, we have developed. Now, what will be our approach in case of thermal stresses in composite bars are? You may ask, composite bars we have dealt. So is the same thing what we will be dealing with by taking into consideration thermal stresses means? Yes, up to some extent it is 100% true. But what is the change we will try to see? Now observe carefully. Now please look here. There were initially brass and steel, they both are rigidly fixed. They are being rigidly fixed. Okay, it is a composite. Brass and steel both are composite. So what I'll do is, please understand here, what I'll do is I'll make this composite to heat. That means this composite is heated. This composite is heated. Okay. In general, when a composite is heated, okay, in general, when composite is heated, what happens is the thermal conductivity or coefficient of thermal expansion for which material will be more, that is going to expand more compared to the other material. That means generally thermal conductivity of brass is more than thermal conductivity of steel. Why it is, you may ask? Why thermal conductivity of brass is more than thermal conductivity of steel is because brass constitutes of, it is made up of some material in the sense we can say that brass is made up of two or more materials, okay. But steel, if we consider carbon steel, in carbon steel 90% will be steel and 6% or 7% will be carbon, okay. Therefore therefore what we can say is a material which is made of two components will expand more considered to the material which has got highest percentage of the steel, okay. So you can understand in another way, but we are not interested in that. But our interest is, we know that thermal conductivity of brass is more, okay, it is greater than thermal conductivity of steel. Therefore brass is going to expand more freely when it is left out freely. When it is left out freely, it will expand more than steel, right? But what amount it is going to expand means brass alpha T into L. free expansion. Okay, so this is the rigidly support, this is free expansion stage. It is going to expand by alpha TL, is it not? So delta L was alpha TL in our first and foremost part we have seen, alpha TL. Now, what is the expansion of steel? It is also
Sir,
alpha
voice
TL.
cut off, sir.
Voice cut అవుతుందా? Is it okay now?
ఇప్పుడు ఓకే సార్. అప్పుడప్పుడు మీ వాయిస్ ఇలా స్లో డౌన్ అవుతుంది సార్.
స్లో డౌన్ అవుతుందా? ఓకే ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి అమ్మా.
ఇప్పుడు ఓకే సార్.
Right. Okay. No, please understand. We are concentrating on the free expansion of brass, free expansion of steel. Generally, brass will expand more compared to the expansion of steel under free expansion state, right? So how much expansion is alpha TL? Alpha TL, but alpha is for brass, alpha BTL, alpha STL, right? But our view is not so. When our analysis is concerned, we will consider that as both expansion to be same. The expansion of brass and also the expansion of steel should expand of same length. That means they both should expand, okay, linearly, rather we can say it as they both should expand equally, or elongation should be equal as far as brass and steel is concerned. Now, how to make this brass and steel to a same level, okay? Here levels were different because of their free expansion, but our assumption was composite bar, as it is a composite bar, they both should elongate in equal length, is it not? That is what our assumption is. Assumption in the sense, that is what the thing is, right? Now what we need to do is, as brass has expanded freely, okay, I will try to reduce this brass, length of this brass. So when I try to reduce length of this brass, that means I have to apply a load, okay, over it, such that compressive stress is going to be there. Okay, this compressive stress will try to reduce the length of the brass. Fine. So it has reduced to some extent. Then I need to make this steel to grow a more length than the expected length. That means I need to apply a load tensile. That means stress developed will be tensile stress. Therefore, they both now are at same stage. Okay, so they both now are at same stage. That means brass and steel have expanded to the same length based on the heating of these this composite material. Any doubt in this? So they have expanded, but you need to understand what is the percentage of elongation which has been taken place. Originally this is what it is, but this amount of elongation has taken, elongation in the sense it can be reduction also. So how much amount of elongation is, this is what it is, sigma b by E into L. You may ask how this sigma b by E into L has come. Now look here, stress is equal to E into epsilon, okay, stress is equal to E into epsilon. Therefore stress of steel by Young's modulus of steel is equal to epsilon. Okay, so stress of steel by Young's modulus of steel is equal to delta L by L. Okay, now delta L, if you calculate, this will be sigma S by ES into L. This is as same as sigma S by ES into L. Okay, or rather sigma B by EB into L. So this is nothing but this is simply the elongation or the reduction of length due to compressive force and the tensile force. Try to understand this carefully, right? So that is what it is. Now, okay, fine. This brass has reduced its length. Now this this steel, it should expand due to this tensile force. So how much elongation it has is, the elongation it has is sigma S by ES into L. That is nothing but delta L is equal to sigma S ES into L. Okay, that's it. If you can frame this in a graphical way, representing them in the mathematical way will be very easy. But before going for the mathematical expression, I would like to explain this once again. Kindly listen meticulously. Now, how many are there, students? Can you tell me the number of students?
21, sir.
How many?
21, sir.
21. Okay, fine. Right. Now look here. I'll explain this once again. Please understand carefully. I have a composite of brass and steel. Okay, they both are rigidly fixed of same length, right? Now what I have done to these two is I have heated this composite. So when this composite is heated, in general, as the thermal conductivity of brass is more than thermal conductivity of steel, okay, right? Coefficient of thermal conductivity of brass is more than coefficient of thermal conductivity of steel. Brass is going to expand more than steel. That means brass will comparatively expand more than steel. So brass has expanded from the original length of this to this length, it has expanded. Okay, so this was delta L. So you know how we got delta L. Even steel of which is of the initially of this length, it has expanded. So how much it has expanded? Delta L, alpha S into 2L, right? But during our analysis of composite parts, we know that these the materials with how many number of materials may be there. As of now, we were only taking two, okay, but those number of materials should expand equally. Okay, so in order for brass and steel to expand equally, what we are trying to do is I am trying to apply a compressive force over here such that it will try to reduce its elongation, and I'll try to make a tensile force at steel such that it is going to elongate. Therefore they both will come to the same position. Okay, they both are going to come to the same position. Then when they have come to the same position, the respective points or the respective things we have noted down carefully. Okay, this is delta L. Even this is also delta L. This is delta L in terms of free expansion for brass. This is delta L in terms of free expansion for steel. Okay, but after applying, if you apply compressive force, okay, if you apply compressive force, then only if you apply compressive force, then this elongation will be there. That elongation will be this one we have calculated right from this position. Okay, the same thing with respect to steel also. Now let us go for the mathematical equation. Right, now as far as composites are concerned, what is that you have done is you have taken two things. Okay, what was it? First thing was overall expansion in one material will be equal to overall expansion of other material. That means strains in both the materials will be equal. Is it not the same thing which you have taken? Avuna kada? Strain in one material is equal to strain in the other material. So the same will be remaining over here. But the second point, what it is going to be is P tensile will be equal to P compressive. That means P value over here compressive force and tensile force both will be same. Okay, that is why we have equated them. Okay, load tensile is equal to load compressive. So tensile load on steel is equal to compressive load on brass. Okay, so we'll not concentrate now as on now, but we'll go for this. So first and foremost thing is overall expansion in brass. Overall expansion in brass. So overall expansion in brass is equal to overall expansion in steel. Is it not? So how much amount of the expansion brass will take place, that much amount even the steel also has to take place. Yes. That means overall expansion of brass in the sense, generally brass has less than the free expansion. Is it not? Free expansion of brass was this, but its overall expansion was less compared to free expansion. Understand this. Overall expansion was less. Brass overall expansion was less compared to the free expansion. So less than the free expansion. So overall expansion in brass is equal to overall expansion in steel. So in bracket I am writing it as less than the free expansion. Why it is less than the free expansion? Brass has expanded freely in free expansion, but when you come to this analysis, okay, it is reducing its expansion. So there is some minus point which has taken place. That means less than the free expansion. But overall expansion of steel, if you consider, more than the free expansion. Yes, in free expansion this is what the steel length is, but it has increased to this position, so more than the free expansion. So you can understand that any material whose quotient of thermal conductivity is more, it will be less than its free expansion. and the other material will be more than the free expansion. Now observe here. Alpha b T into L is due to free expansion minus sigma b L by EB. So why you have taken minus over here? Because less than the free expansion. When there is less than the free expansion, you have to keep minus over here. Okay. Now alpha S T into L. What is alpha S T into L? This is delta L due to free expansion of steel without any hindrance. Okay. So more than the free expansion, as it is more than the free expansion, you have to keep a plus over here. Okay, you have to keep a plus over here. Then you add the remaining part. What these remaining two parts are? These remaining two parts are these parts only. Sigma B by EB into L, sigma S by ES into L. Okay, sigma B by EB into L, sigma S by ES into L. Okay, so this is the first and the foremost thing. The rest of the things, as far as problems are concerned, everything will be given. Only thing